Well, unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end. And to end our very first BrELT Queer Day, we have Isadora and Elton. And it's very important to mention that Isadora and Elton were also responsible for somehow for this event to take place because the conversation started again back in Brasilia during the Brastisol International Conference, as well as during the IATAFA with La Coimbra. So I'm very happy to introduce you, Elton and Isadora. Isadora Bernardes has been a EFL teacher at Casa Thomas Jefferson and an LGBT activist for 8 years. She holds a degree in English from the University of Brasilia. And Elton has been an EFL teacher for 6 years, 4 of which at Casa Thomas Jefferson, and he holds a degree in international relations from the University of Brasilia. So without further ado, Elton and Isadora for you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So thank you so much, Chi, for that. And I've been following the other webinars during this day, and I would like to make just some first considerations because I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but Thorsten Mers mentions Cynthia Nelson, and so I really think that if you want to continue studying queer theory, you should really look for her articles and everything because we also we researched a lot the things she does. So I think she really is important for the whole queer theory academic part. So if he has mentioned, and we don't have the time to talk about that, but he has already given you guys the whole theory behind that, which was great. And also, we had Sergio talking about the LGBTQIA plus acronym, and this is something you also mentioned in our presentation, so we don't need to talk about that either. So I think everything was very well organized, and it was a very round kind of thing because they talked about things, everything went to a very practical kind of way. It was very well organized. And and this is going to be a summary of our workshop. And because it takes usually an hour and 40 minutes to give the whole talk because it's an interact based and sharing of experiences workshop. And since it's not possible to do that in the way we thought for the face-to-face presentation, we're going to actually summarize everything. And that being said, if you want us to go there and give this workshop live, face-to-face, we totally accept invitations in your institution and everything, or to give training to the teachers, whatever. Our institution is extremely supportive of that, and we just need to schedule the time. So we do accept these invitations if you would like to. Okay, and I think that's it. I think we can start. Yes?
Let's start.
So the name of this, well, let's say webinar. Yes, it's giving voice to the voiceless LGBT students. And first of all, we're going to show you some quotes, okay? And let me see it here. We're going to change slides a lot. That's a problem. Let me see. So that's how it's going to be, okay? So I would like you to tell us if you have ever heard any or ever said any of these quotes, okay?
You can please type in your answers in the web chat.
Okay. So and the last quote is that one. Okay, so if you have heard or if you have ever said that in your life, I would like you please to say yes or no for that, okay? Very briefly.
Isadora, would you mind reading them aloud? Because some people might struggle seeing it.
on
YouTube.
Number one, keep your personal life personal.
True. I'm not gay, so I don't know anything about gay people.
I don't have any gay students.
Fourth, I have a gay student, and everyone is okay with that.
We shouldn't talk about sexual orientation in class.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a look. Yes, perfect. Okay, that's it. Great. So, and then
we shouldn't talk about sexual orientation in class.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a look. Yeah. Okay, so just then let me show you. So why are we showing you guys this? Because we really think that this is relevant because everyone, like I saw the YouTube there, everyone has already heard or at least said these kinds of things, yes? So I'm just looking for the, I closed it. Guys, I'm so sorry. Where is it?
I guess was that one that you just...
No, it wasn't. It's this one.
We can only see your feed, not the screen.
Screen?
You need to screen share again.
I'm trying to, guys. We're having just okay, here it is. Okay, sorry. Can you see it now?
Not yet. You need to start screen sharing. Yeah, there you go. It's coming.
And so, why are we doing this? So we're doing this because most of us have heard these quotes, and most of us have talked about that. And I think we should talk about
yes. And mainly we started to think about creating this webinar or workshop because we faced situations in class in which our students demanded us to change our position regarding these quotes. They demanded us to take a stand and to deal with sexual orientation in class and sexuality in a different way.
And the second reason why we're doing this, it's because it is a teaching issue. So when teacher says, yes, I've heard that or I've said that, it's the same thing as when you struggle teaching speaking. So, if you don't know how to deal with that, then you go to some kind of workshop or thing, and then you start to understand the topic. So I have faced these kinds of issues. All teachers who have attended the webinar today have faced these kinds of things. So if teachers face this, then it is a teaching issue. So that's why we're doing this. And also I went to Toronto's, the TESOL International Convention in Toronto last year, and I saw that they were talking about these things, and then I thought to myself, why is the ESL environment a place for this discussion while the EFL isn't? And I was like, okay, so I think it really is time to bring this topic to Brazil because this is something that we had never seen in any BrELT TESOL here in our country, yes?
Yes, and also as teachers, since the beginning of our careers, we're taught that we shouldn't expose our sexuality to our students. We shouldn't talk about these topics. But fortunately, our students put us in situations in which we could not avoid talking about it, and we should start thinking on the better ways to do it. So we're in fact just trying to share the experiences we had in the last 2 years with these students.
Yes, and we were going to talk a little bit about the acronym, but like I told you, Sergio has already explained it to you, so we're going to not go through that again, and he did it very well, so then it's their review for you guys. You're taking a look. Okay, guys, so what's the issue? The issue is that our students, they are going, first of all, yes, sexual orientation is not addressed in the school. People don't talk about that as much as they talk about racism or about feminism, whatever. But sexual orientation is not a topic that teachers address. And because of that, our students are going through serious situations of bullying, invisibility, and marginalization. So our LGBT students, they face that because people do not talk about it. Yes, and because they go through bullying, invisibility, and marginalization, our students are starting to kill themselves, and this is something really, really sad. So the Ireland National Office for Suicide Prevention conducted a research because, yeah, so, due to the rates of suicides that were happening there, and they realized that people the study showed that people realize that they are LGBT at the age of 12, and they disclose it to their parents and family or friends at the age of 17. And then I have another question for you. Do you think that our students are there between this range? Like, I'm looking at the YouTube, so you can say there, like, do you think our students are between 12 and 17? Do you teach this level? Do you teach this age? Okay, and then some people are saying here, yes. Okay, so so the same, so that's why we should talk about it, because our students are there, and our students are killing themselves. And someone said something here about the teachers. I sometimes teachers don't address because they are afraid. It was Mariana Casas, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, okay? And so Elton is going to talk a little bit about the rest of the research conducted in the Ireland office.
Yes, we have some outcome that came from this research. First, 58% reported the existence of homophobic bullying in their schools. Over 50% had been called abusive names by fellow students. 34 reported homophobic comments by teachers and other staff members, and that's very serious because this is one of the most important parts. We need to train and teach teachers how to behave well. Like, teachers sometimes are the biggest source of homophobic bullying in classroom. 25% had been physically threatened by peers, and we've seen this. Like, when we aren't teaching in class, we know which students are facing this kind of threat.
Yes, and just for you to understand that this was conducted in Ireland, yes. And I'm just gonna close something here. Okay, this was conducted in Ireland, and this was the students that we told you, like between 12 and 17. They were the ones who answered to that. I forgot to mention. Sorry.
Yes.
The rest of the.
Yes, 40% had been verbally threatened by fellow students because they were or were thought to be LGBT. 72% felt that they couldn't be themselves at school. 20 admitted to missing school because they felt threatened or afraid of getting hurt at school. And 5% left school early because of how they were treated as a consequence of their LGBT identity.
Okay, guys, so that being shown, I really have one more question for you. So these are Ireland rates and numbers and figures. I would like you to tell me if you think this would be higher if we brought it to Brazil. You can answer the question via YouTube or chat. Do you think that this would be higher if we brought these statistics to Brazil? Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to conduct this research ourselves, but we sure would love to do it. Someone is saying here about SEAL. Yes, I'm also a teacher at SEAL, and that's it. That's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay.
What is a SIL class?
Sorry, can you repeat? I didn't hear.
What is a SIL?
It's Centro Interescolar de Línguas. It's a school. It's a language school. It's a public language school, and we have them around Brasilia. So, for example, we have one in Plano Piloto and one in Taguatinga, and students go there to study only languages. So they study in the communicative approach, like through the communicative approach. It's like mini, let's say not mini because they're huge, but they are language institutes for public school students.
Yeah, it would be like just like Casa Thomas Jefferson, which is a private school. It's a school for English, but as not as part is extracurricular, and still would be an extracurricular Casa Thomas Jefferson or a binational center, but it's public. It's completely
And it's only for our
yes.
public school students.
Students.
It's a very nice project. Okay, guys, so why should teachers get involved? So we talked about the statistics, and I think this shows a lot that why teachers should get involved because of all these numbers and figures we showed you. But here is one more reason why teachers should get involved.
Yes. Why should teachers get involved? First of all, because we witness LGBT name calling and bullying in classroom. So we are present whenever this kind of discrimination happens. Second, we witness also physical LGBTQ plus bullying, and despite teachers being really willing to help students, they feel ill-prepared. They don't know how to address the topic with students. They don't know how to face institutional behavior. Like they don't know if their schools are going to support them, if their coordinators are going to support them, and well, and as a result of the Ireland's research, we could discover that whenever a serious project of trying to create safe environments for LGBTQ plus students in high schools or elementary schools, this developed a culture of acceptance among students in which they could get to know different people and start to, by knowing, respect each other, and this was really great.
Yes, I think Sergio talked about, he said something like we should just talk about it in a natural way and things like that, and that we should start making the difference. And I think that this school culture development is about that. When we start talking, our students start changing their minds, and they start, I think Luciana also addressed that, you know, we should give students these kinds of things because it creates a different school culture. Yes? Okay, let's go. So what can teachers do? So then doing some research and everything, and we have the references for that. We are going to show you 4 actions that teachers can do in class to actually help their students, because like Elton said, sometimes you want to help but you feel ill-prepared. And of course this day has helped everyone. It has helped me a lot because I've heard things that I had never heard before, and so these are the 4 actions we have from research that teachers can do. So recognizing, affirming, supporting, and challenging, and we're gonna explain each one of them right now. Okay.
Okay. The first one is recognizing. Recognizing is to take in consideration that there are LGBTQ plus students in your class. You need to acknowledge their existences. Second of all, you need to remember that they are there when you plan your lesson. So remembering their existence, it's also a way that you can address the topic in your lesson plan. And also you can try to mention LGBTQ plus community whenever feels appropriate and with groups that are open to that. So you can start to foster the development of a culture of acceptance.
Okay, so after recognizing, there is affirming. So when you recognize, like Elton said, then you recognize that LGBTQ plus students exist and teachers, you're going to affirm their existence. So you are taking a stand, yes? You are, so you're aware of that, so you're going to start doing that. And how can you do it? Model behavior. So you as a teacher are never going to be homophobic or LGBT phobic, actually. And you are going to start mentioning LGBTQ plus community in a very comfortable way, in a very natural way. So this is affirming. And you're going to use opportunities in class to talk about that. Sergio told a little bit of, told a story that one of his students was being homophobic, and then he took that opportunity to actually address the topic. I've done that with my oitavo ano, yes, my 8th grade students, and they had this name calling going a lot, and since they were doing that currently, I said, okay guys, it's time for us to talk about that. So I used this opportunity to talk about that, And for me, is also encouraging critical thinking. And this is through various activities that you can do. We are always talking about critical thinking in the EFL environment. Yes. And third.
Well, support. Support is the action that actually goes in doing the parts of teacher that actually does something in class. First of all, we should not allow name calling because this leads to homophobic bullying. Second of all, we should provide information. Normally, students they tend to act in a disruptive or they tend to discriminate other students because they don't know what they're talking about. So we should when we are supporting by providing information, we make students more aware of what you're talking. And second of all, and finally, be available. We should always show our students that we are there to help them to that they can feel safe around us. So you need to be available for your students whenever they feel the need. And next one.
And so after supporting, you're gonna start challenging, and this is like a part. I think I'm right there right now. I have reached the challenge part. So you're gonna challenge others, and you're gonna challenge your colleagues. So whenever your colleagues say something like, "Oh, because I don't have any gay students," or things like that, or the quotes, let's say we showed you before, you're gonna challenge them, and you're gonna say, "No, that's not like that." And of course, sometimes you're going to challenge yourself because some teachers have different beliefs. But I tell that every time we do this workshop is that you're doing this not for the teachers, but we're doing that for the students. So you as an educator, you should challenge yourself and start thinking about how you're going to do that in class. And you're going to challenge your institution because you can actually request training from your institution in the topic. So, okay, maybe I'm not prepared for that, or I don't know how to deal with that. Of course, teachers who are attending this webinar right now are the teachers who are willing to do something. So you have to get this word out and start requesting things and challenging others after this one-day seminar we had there.
Yes, and finally, we came across these 4 actions in order to provide students safe environment for LGBT students. Like we could notice that our techniques to avoid bullying in general, for example, they were not working with LGBTQ plus students in class. So when we were researching that, we were thinking, how can we provide safe environments for all our LGBT students? How can they feel safe and actually learn the language, but without feeling threatened at any point?
Okay, so now we're going to show you guys some case studies. Like I told you, our workshop is about interaction and everything. I'm trying to follow you on YouTube, but I'm a little lost. But what am I gonna do? So we're gonna show you the case study, and then we're gonna give you a minute, and you're gonna try to answer this question: what would you do if you were the teacher? If you don't want to write your answer there in the YouTube chat or anything, that's okay. Keep it to yourself. So focus on that. What would you do if you were the teacher? Okay. So this is the first one. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I have to change screens in a second. Okay.
What is that?
No.
Look.
Just a moment. I'm gonna close that. So where is it? It's here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hi, now you can see us. Yay. So here they are. Yay. Perfect. So here is, so like I told you, what would you do if you were the teacher?
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh.
This is the same.
Oh, no. So there's something wrong, because that's the one I want. This goes away. No. Oh, here you are. Okay. We're so sorry, guys. Okay, that's it.
Don't worry.
Where is the...
As well. No.
No. Okay. We're gonna have to work with that. So, here. Okay, we're gonna try to put it on the whole screen again, but we don't know. Can you see the whole screen?
It'll take a little time. There's a delay.
Okay.
Okay.
But is it there? For you guys in the
We can see the slide called case studies.
Perfect. That's what I want.
Yes.
So let's go. So this is scenario 1. Okay. We're gonna read that for you. Okay.
Yes. Kids are playing with stickers, and they start gluing them all over their faces. When one student glues one sticker onto his ear, his male peers start mocking him and calling him a girl. So, as a teacher, what would you do? Remember that you have to try to educate your student, not only try to how can I say, to reject any kind of homophobic bullying. You need to make your students understand that what you're doing is somehow prejudicial.
Okay, we're gonna give you just a sec.
We cannot see the slide you just read, but
No?
we can hear you. Yeah.
So
Okay, now we can see it.
now, okay, how
Which
are?
is part of it.
Oh, okay. So I need to change that. Just a moment. Oh.
Just if you put it on full screen, please.
No, right? Can you see it?
Not yet.
1, 2.
You have to play slide slow show from current slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
From current slides.
Yeah, I know, and that's what we did with the other one. It's not working now.
Here.
No, it's gonna go away if you do that.
No, yes. But they can they see it like that?
No, they
yes.
can't.
Go here, set up.
But anyway,
oh, okay, guys. No. Now we know what's the problem. Okay.
Now you can do it.
Okay. Can you see it now?
It'll come on in a second. Just a moment.
Okay.
Not sure. But anyway, the problem was that because we can see the toolbar very clearly, but not so much the slide. But the problem was the sticker. Oh, I think it's coming on now. It's you now. We can see you.
I think now it's ready.
And now we can see the scenarios.
Okay.
Scenario 1. There you go.
That's the first one. That's the first one. So we can start discussing that. Okay. So I'm reading. Well, okay. So perfect. So Elton, it's you now.
Yes, I really liked this comment here. You would bring pictures of men wearing earrings, and you would show them whether or not you find, and you would discuss with your students, right? And try to see their reaction. This is really interesting. And
Caroline Barqueta
yes,
said that.
Carolina
yes?
Barqueta said that. Yes, this situation actually happened with me. My students were about 9 to 10 years old, and they were playing with these stickers, and they asked me if I wanted one, and then I said that I didn't want. And when I saw what was happening, I took a stand and I said, "Excuse me, can I have one now? Because now I want." And then I glued in my ear. And then students were shocked to see that their teacher was actually doing the same thing as the boy was doing. So they stopped mocking because I was modeling behavior in students. And this was the way I found to make students critically think about their actions, because if they felt at ease to disrespect a student, they wouldn't feel at ease to disrespect the teacher. So I found this way to make my students rethink.
Okay. So the second scenario is this one, and I'm gonna read that for you. So a student realizes that you, a teacher, are lesbian, she asks them to talk to you in the end of the class and openly asks you if you are a lesbian. So you say the truth, and the student immediately asks this follow-up question: why aren't you out for all the class? So what would you do if you were the teacher? Okay. So okay, I'm gonna say what I did. So this happened to me. Okay, this happened in my class. I was the teacher, and what I did was, the student asked me, "Why aren't you out for the class, teacher?" And I told her, "Look, I'm really afraid of, like, I didn't use the word afraid, but I said, so some parents and some students, they do not react nicely sometimes to these kinds of things, and I'm really afraid of what might happen if I come out as a lesbian. So I really don't know what to do. Like, it costs my job." Okay, so I told her that, and she started crying, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, please don't cry, because I don't know how to deal with people who cry." And then she said, "Oh, teacher, no, I'm so sorry. I'm just crying because I didn't realize that you had to go through these kinds of things. I had never thought about that." And then I was like, "Oh, sweetie, I'm totally okay with who I am, and I know that. So don't you worry. This is okay for me." And then she was like, "Okay, teacher." So and then she went home, and then this was like on a Wednesday, and then we had class again on Monday, and then she did the same thing. She waited for everyone to leave the room, and after they left the room, she told me, "Teacher, can I talk to you?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Okay, so yeah, last class I was crying because I myself am a lesbian, and I never realized that I had to go through the same things that you go through. And I was really sad and shocked at the same time, not because she was a lesbian, of course, but that she could see that she would go through some things, and that she did not realize that me as a teacher, I could go through these horrible societal things." And why is this scenario important? Because the moment that I came out, there was some kind of representativeness, you know. So whenever possible, we told you to bring LGBTQ plus community in class, and sometimes we are the representation our students need. Everybody's aware that we are a very huge LGBTQ plus group in teaching, in the teaching environment. So sometimes we are the representation our students need. I'm not telling you guys, "Oh, come out every time," but I'm telling you that sometimes, whenever possible, we should do that, because our students need to see someone that they can trust and that they can do it. So sometimes humanizing LGBT community is not only bringing pictures, but you can be this kind of representation. And now that I'm very comfortable with that, last class, one student was saying something about gamer girls, and my girlfriend is a gamer. And then I told her, and then they were like, "Oh, but girls can't." A boy said something about girls playing something, and I said, "Well, but my girlfriend is a gamer." And they were a little shocked in the beginning, let's say, like surprised, not shocked. And the conversation went on, like normally. So sometimes, and I don't know how it's going to be the come out of these things, but sometimes our students need that. Yes.
Yes, and the way you bring the topic in classroom, if you bring it in a natural way, students are going to take it as something natural. Also, let's move on to the next scenario.
Okay. Yes. Because we're.
Yes. On the third scenario, we the book that you have to teach brings a lesson about a heterosexual couple who faces discrimination due to age gap. The teacher is planning such a lesson and wants to connect it to LGBT T plus issues. How would you do as a teacher to try to bring LGBTQ plus topics into class in a way to address this lesson?
Okay.
Okay. Well, this lesson happened to me. There is a book in our intermediate course which brings this lesson, and I had this group with in which I had one openly gay student. The other ones were they were very supportive, and but I felt the book brought me a really nice situation to bring the topic to class. So I started my class showing them a video with the lyrics from Cool for Summer from Demi Lovato. In this song, as probably you know, it talks about a summer relationship between two girls, and this relationship can only last for summer for obvious reasons. And I started the class showing the video and asking the question like, guys, can you tell me why this relationship can last only for summer? And then they watched the video and they really felt at ease, but they just said that the relationship should end because this was something cultural in the United States. They have summer love, and it's a relationship that only lasts for 3 months. And then I put some words that really are connected to the idea of two girls having a relationship together, like the cherry chapstick, and other ones that were in the lyrics, and I made them to watch again, and I gave them a second question: who is in this relationship? And then, as they were watching for the second time, they realized it was a lesbian relationship. And then I started asking, guys, so now you see there are two girls. My question for you is, do you know what kind of problems these girls have so their love can only last for summer? Do you face the same kind of problems? What problems do you face that they don't face? What problems do they face you don't? So in this way, I was trying to foster critical thinking and empathy towards the LGBTQ community by putting my students into LGBTQ plus students' shoes, and making them to realize that different people face different problems. That was the way that I found to bring this topic into class.
Okay. Guys, so, okay, we're gonna show you this scenario. We're running out of time, I think, so, I know, that's just show the four then. That's okay. Yes.
Okay.
So two boys start discussing class, and at some point one of them calls the other faggot. This is something we face every day in our Brazilian schools. So I think everyone has dealt with that in a way. So I would like you to answer the question, what would you do if you were the teacher? Okay. And I'm going to show you scenario 5 because they are kind of related. So scenario 5.
Yes, they are both talking about the same kind of problem. So a girl who is openly lesbian at her school is being avoided by other girls in class. Some of them, for instance, start leaving the bathroom as she gets into it, not to be in contact with her. So as a teacher, how would you react to these situations?
Okay. Well, we're gonna start just because we're like running out of time, and okay, yes.
Well, the first one, the boys, this is basically name calling. When we were talking about this kind of situation, we were talking about homophobic bullying, and this is a way to address homophobic bullying. First of all, you need to recognize and challenge your students whenever this happens. My strategy for that was to try to humanize the LGBTQ plus community in class. For example, whenever one student called the other one gay or faggot in a undermining way, I come to him in private and say, excuse me, I would not like you to continue using this language because I have a friend who's gay, or I am gay, depending on the classroom. I say that, so students know that you're not just saying this word to someone that doesn't exist. Maybe their teacher is gay, maybe another student is, maybe your teacher has friends, family who's gay. So calling that, you're actually hurting someone, not no one. And this is part of one specific phenomenon that happens to boys, which is called the the masculinity, the manhood games, in which boys need uh, to reinforce their masculinity all the time by undermining other boys' masculinity. So it's something that you need to be aware that happens. Boys are there name calling not because they want to offend per se, but because they want to reaffirm their manhood.
Okay, scenario 5, guys. We're like I said, we're really running out of time, but just to let you know, we're talking here about lesbian visibility because spotting gay, homophobic, like for men in class is very easy. We see that all the time, but with girls it's much more difficult because we lesbians, we are only seen when we are sexualized, and our maybe you have a student who is really shy, or she's really quiet, or she's there like on her own, and you're not understanding if anything is going with her. Maybe she's not a lesbian. I'm not generalizing, of course, but lesbian visibility is there. It happens, and sometimes we face these kinds of situations, and maybe it's outside the class, but lesbians, they face these kinds of bullying that it's not in our faces. So we're bringing this scenario just to raise your awareness and keep a look on your lesbian students. Guys, we really have to finish, wrap it up. The last scenario is very interesting. It's about a trans boy, but we really don't have time to do it. And I'm going to show you another slide right now, okay? Where is it? Just to wrap it up, promise. I don't know why is it changing. Okay, here it is. There. It's this one. This goes away. This goes away. Open, please. Oh my gosh. What is going on? Okay. Can you open? Okay, we're gonna just talk to you guys because I think my computer has just
stopped working.
No, it's playing with me. I don't know what the hell is that. I'm sorry. Okay, there it is. Okay, let's go. So we would like just to tell you some things to keep in mind after this workshop. Okay, my computer has really done something. It's avoiding me.
There it is, sweetie.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So, guys, here are some things to keep in mind, okay? I think I can do it. So, first of all, I'm gonna try one more time because I never give up. Tell me it worked? No? No, it didn't. Okay. So, guys, things to keep in mind. You're going to assume that some students in your class are LGBTQ+, even if they're not. So you have to assume that, okay?
Yes, you also have to assume LGBTQ plus students in your class are wondering if that environment is safe, especially with the lesbians girls. The lesbian students, they're testing the waters. Sometimes they are being marginalized in class. They are being isolated, and they're testing to see if that environment is safe, if the teacher is there, and if the teacher is available to help them.
Okay, just to wrap it up this part, sometimes students are testing the water, guys. Sometimes they're testing to see if that environment is safe, if they can come out or not. So be there for them and show them that your classroom is a safe environment. The other thing you should keep in mind is to use pictures and examples in class that are inclusive of LGBT and same-sex couples. So, like we said, yes, bring them to class, and like I told you, sometimes we are the representative and it's our students' need. Of course, we should check that with your institution or not, if they're going to back you up on that. And we should start talking about that so it doesn't become a taboo anymore, right? So
Yes, we have to say the words gay, lesbian, transgender out loud and comfortably, uh, and do not overgeneralize using homosexual. The idea is that we should bring the topics in a natural way. For example, when my students come and say, "Oh, teacher, tonight we're going to have a date, so your girlfriend is going to be waiting," I say, "No, no, not my girlfriend, my boyfriend." And when I say that, students they get a little bit shocked, but they react in a natural way because I made it natural.
Okay. And the last thing for you to keep in mind is to offer alternative when hearing homophobic stereotypes, myths, and or slurs. So like, okay, you should not talk, you should not name call like that. It's not offensive. I've done that with my students. Like, I've shown them, for example, oh, if you call a girl who is, I don't know, if she has curly dark hair like me, and you say, oh, you're such a blondie. Like, how can that be offensive? Being blonde is not offensive, and I'm not blonde. So why if you call me, oh, you're faggot, and your friend is not? So bring that, offer alternatives for your students for these kinds of myths and stereotypes and slurs.
Yes, make them rethink about like, are you really offending someone by telling who they are?
Okay. Guys, thank you so much. That was it. And we're so
Yes,
sorry
thank
that we
you.
went beyond a little bit of the time. Okay, that's it.
Oh, you didn't. It was like,
It was wonderful. I loved it. I love the scenarios. I love the practical tips you gave at the end of the presentation. Very, very informative. Very good, guys. Congratulations.
and we have a few questions for you. If you keep it brief in the answers, just because of the time. One of them is actually more of, in those cases, would you use the first language? Would you use Portuguese in any of those cases? Just a moment, because I need to unmute you. Just a moment. Unmute your microphone, please. Mm. Well, for some reason, I just can't unmute you. Can you try and unmute your own phone?
Yes.
Yes,
There you go.
Okay. Can you listen to us?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So depending on the level, for example, this situation he faced was with advanced students, so I think it's okay to speak English.
Yes, it was intermediate level student, like, so it was fine. I just used English, for example, in the case of the song. With the kids, I made it in a way that I didn't actually need to say anything. I just glued the stress
Because it was an
sticker
action?
in. Yes, I just glued the stress sticker on my ear, onto my ear, and it was fine. Students got the message by my action.
Yes, and since I teach in 3 different English environments, if I was at the casa, I would most certainly try to speak English. If it was, I've taught kids, and sometimes for that situations are junior students, like when they're 8, 9, I would speak Portuguese. And when I teach regular schools, like 8th grade, 9th grade, then I speak Portuguese.
Yes.
Not all class, but I address that in Portuguese, and I think if it's necessary, I would do it in Portuguese, because guys, whether we want it or not, we are educators, and sometimes it's necessary. I mean,
Yes.
if that's the language they're gonna get the message, I think we should, give it a break and say it in Portuguese.
Normally, whenever I address this kind of situations, I try to first do it in English, because if I change to Portuguese in the middle of the class and the students where we teach, they are completely used to have the classes fully in English. They think you were giving it a serious tone, and I don't want them to get that. I want them to see it is just another thing. Like, where, for example, the name calling bullying, I just said, excuse me, student. I think you shouldn't say that, because I have a cousin who is gay, and he would really feel offended by that. And then the student got it, and he has never said that in my class anymore.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, make it natural, like you said, or like Luciana said in the previous talk. You cannot avoid you don't have to bring the issue into class. The issue is already there, and I find it really
Yes. They
The
should,
people
their algorithms are there, and even if they're not LGBT, they are starting to bring the topic. It's
Hmm.
not only in our classes, but I bet around Brazil, students are starting to bring the topic. So it's easier for us to get this opportunity and use it.
No,
Yes.
and the I think the thing students can really profit is it's not for the openly out LGBTQ plus students in classroom because those kids they know how to handle their situation. But for example, sometimes you have students who don't know who they are. They're going to come out only when they are 24, 25, and 21, and they're actually living in a hostile environment, and our classrooms are, and this is the biggest point, like providing safe environments for students are not for the openly gay, lesbian, transgender students, but for students who actually don't know who they
yeah.
are.
And for teachers too. I've always thought because students tend to look for a rapport with the teacher and by asking personal questions. So I've always been able to answer that I have a husband, that he's called Andrew, and then it's a male name, and then by that I'm coming out as heterosexual. But a teacher who is gay or a lesbian would not have that privilege
Yeah,
of not
we don't
thinking
have the
twice
privilege.
before saying the name. Um,
Yes, if we had more time, we would show you that, but we also talk about that. Like, we often edit our lives, or we simply don't mention anything in class because we are too afraid of doing that. Yes.
Yes, and we've brought this topic to our institution in the way that, for example, teachers they deliver their classes based on their experience. So if we're actually editing and deleting experiences, aren't our classes getting poorer and poorer?
Yes.
and artificial, right?
Are
We
you?
have another question here. Have you, maybe it went by unnoticed, the solution to scenario 5? What did you do in that?
Okay, yes. Oh, yes, I forgot that. So, this didn't happen to us. It was another teacher, and it was a regular school. It was not a English institute or anything. And what the teacher did was he actually all the these girls' friends they got together and said this shouldn't be happening. And then one literature teacher joined them, and they did a manifesto. He wrote a manifesto for them, and the teacher actually was that he was the only teacher helping them in all around the school. So he got a microphone and he read the manifesto with the students, and he was there like taking a stand. And of course, he consulted her before. He said, "Okay, is it okay if I help you doing that?" And then her other friends started kissing, like they did a beijaço, but they were like boys who were straight or were kissing other boys, just to show them that it should show everybody that if they had a problem, like that they were there to help her. So the story is nice because there will this only could happen because a teacher took a stand. This literature teacher actually said, "Okay, here, so we're gonna go against the school and we're gonna go against everybody, and I'm gonna help you." It
Yeah,
was very nice.
I think like this example shows how the teacher could prov- uh, provide aid to the lesbian student who was being isolated. But sometimes, like, what you have to do is not like to expose the student if the student doesn't feel well with that. For example, last semester I had a lesbian student who was being isolated by the other girls. I only could notice that by the end of the semester because I didn't know actually lesbians faced this problem. Isadora actually helped me to see that. And I saw that she was being isolated, but I didn't know it was because she was a lesbian. And but what I did was I talked to the student, and I was really careful on where she would sit and who she would do the activities with. So I was always asking, like, for example, student, do you feel comfortable working with this student? Do you feel comfortable doing that? Do you want to do the activity with me? Like, and in the middle of the semester, I didn't know like how important this was for the girl. And during teacher parents meeting, her mother came with her, and then she wanted to congratulate me because I was the first teacher that actually had paid attention to her, and I was really. I felt really confused because for me she was just a student who okay, she was isolated. I didn't know why, but I didn't see her doing any effort to try to mingle with the other students. So I was trying to make her produce the language despite her being isolated. But at the end, I made her feel comfortable for the first time.
Okay, that's it. If you have more questions, we're totally.
I think that Thiago has something to ask for you.
Thiago?
Yeah, Thiago, are you there?
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me. I've just unmuted myself.
Okay.
Okay, I just want you to briefly talk about the transgender boy case because I know we've been running out of time, but I think that's really important.
Okay.
And
And the slides are here, so we didn't.
Yes, we didn't know we could.
can you just summarize it very quickly?
Okay, yes,
sure.
yes, I think it's better. So what happened was that I had this.
Wait, let me read the scenario first. Look,
Okay.
the scenario is in the first day of class, when you were doing the icebreaker, a student enters the classroom and asks to talk to you in private. He says he is a trans boy and that his name in the roll call is not the one he uses, and that he wants to be called by the name of R.
R would be like because we can say his name, right?
Yes, it would be like
I don't know.
For example, maybe Roberto, Raimundo,
Yeah, anything like that.
Any name with R. So, Isadora, do you want to explain?
So yes, so what happened was that I was there giving my icebreaker the first day of class, and the student basically he got me, and he put me aside like out of the blue. I was there in front of everybody, and then I said, I really need to talk to you. And then we went outside. I said, okay, guys, just a moment. I need to go out. And he said, look, my name is this in the roll call, so I don't want to be called like that. That's my name. I said, okay, of course. He was lucky enough to have an LGBT teacher, and yes, I'm a lesbian. And then I said, of course, I'm going to call you for this name. And then I erased his name out of the roll call. Anyway. And then, so what would you do if you were the teacher? Is the question we ask you. And this is what I did. So I started using his name, and everybody in the class started doing the same thing. So I modeled behavior. I said, okay, if so this is his name, because some of the students had studied with him when he hadn't transitioned. And by the end of the semester, or right in the beginning, the students were calling him by his name. So, I mean, I model behavior, and I think it's really important because we do have trans students. They are in transition or they have gone through the transition, but sometimes we ignore their existence, and they are there, and they have the right to be called by their names. And we brought this scenario just to show you that, you know, be aware of our trans students. They are there. They exist. We have trans teachers as well.
Yes.
Yeah, thankfully we do.
Yes.
They are there.
The idea is to respect students' identities. We actually we delivered this workshop at Casa Thomas Jefferson, and then we sat with our psychologist, and she told us that we do have trans students, and this topic was relevant because some teachers they had taught these students, and they saw those students transitioning. So it was something that it was a topic that was never addressed, but teachers should know how to deal with the situation.
That's it.
Okay, guys. So thank you very much for this.
Can I just say something? One little thing.
Yes.
Yes, because there Mariana she's on YouTube. I think Mariana. I don't know if she has left or anything. Mariana Casals, yes. And she's been asking us very interesting questions. And I would like you to add me on Facebook or anything like that, because I can totally talk to you and maybe give you some support, because I can see that you're really interested and that you've been commenting a lot. So my name is Isadora Bernardes. I'm on BrELT group. Elton is also there. Yes. Everyone else, feel free. Our emails also, if you want to invite us, if you want to talk to us, I don't know if they're there, but it's isadora.bernardes@cityjonline.com.
And elton.medeiros@cityjonline.com.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And we'll also bring the questions to the community so we can extend the discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, guys. I loved it. I loved it.
Thank you
It
so
was
much.
awesome. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you all the presenters, all the teachers who were here attending this long afternoon, which was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I hope we can have a next one very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.